I met Bruce like a year ago? I can't remember.
We were at one of the first meetings.
You were at one of the first meetings, you and Lauren. And in my experience of Bruce, he has such a big heart. His spirit is always, how can I help? What can I do? How to connect? And so he is also going to speak tonight after his presentation about one of our newest, really, we're elevating one of our programs, and it's because of Bruce that we have the program at all and that we're elevating it. So please give a warm, heart-centered welcome to Bruce Starr.
Thank you. Very nice to be here. I know it's so nice to come someplace where you know so many people. Isn't that nice? I remember one of the beautiful things about Lauren and I when we lived on the island, and someone just said, Roatan Bruce. Who just said that? from the island, is community. And being able to go someplace and embrace each other. So I love the power of community. I love the power of being together and getting together. And I've always loved relationships and studying relationships. By the way, I took CBD last night. Is that going to help me with this speech here right now?
You're doing fine.
Oh, I am? Oh, okay, good. So, I do wear two hats here. So I'm not going to talk that much about video production because I've worked with so many of you already. Sari, I just finished working with. We had a great time together. I hope she thinks we had a great time together. And I've worked with so many of you. It's been a wonderful experience. But what attracted me the most when I first heard about this group was that I was a relationship coach. I've been studying relationships, my God, since 1975. And mostly to help me with my own, I won't say dysfunctional relationships, but dysfunctional relationships. And I just started studying whatever philosophies on life that I can find. And the very first one that I studied was astrology. The president of the New England Astrological Society lived up the block from my house when I lived in Boston. And she taught me about astrology, helping to understand people through their different signs, and their sun signs, and their rising signs. And then she also had psychic development classes. So here was this guy in Boston running around having a great time, doing what young men in Boston do, and I was taking astrology classes and psychic development classes. It was on my first steps of the ladder up in raising my spirit and raising my vibration. And I've had some wonderful teachers. In the middle 80s, when I lived in Manhattan, I studied the Course in Miracles. Anybody that's... So I studied the Course in Miracles with a lady named Mary Ann Williams. That's how she got started. She traveled every other week to Manhattan from Los Angeles and spoke to our little group on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, 100, 150 people. And I'm going to tell you a quick story that I don't get to tell too often, but I will. She was such a great teacher, and I had just come back from Los Angeles. And I was a talent agent, and I could really spot talent. That was just something I've always been able to do. And after learning from her, this dynamic Course in Miracles stuff, oh my God, you have to just change everything about you if you're going to really dive into the Course in Miracles. And Mary Ann made it possible and appetizing to do that. She's a fantastic speaker and teacher. And after learning from her for a year or so, I got a little friendly with her and I said, Mary Ann, more people than 100 people or 150 people at this church need to hear about you. And I said, we need to write an article. We need to get some magazines. We should write a book. And she says, write a book? And I said, yeah, I mean, all you really have to do is get someone to transcribe some of your lectures and organize it and put them into a book. She says, I can't do that, I'm traveling, would you want to help me? And I said, sure. I mean, here was someone who was, brilliant, and I'm going to take a little bit of credit of getting her going and writing Return to Love. So, in jest, I say, if I died tomorrow, I know that millions of people benefited from her book and became a lot more whole and healthy with relationships. Then I had the unbelievable opportunity to travel the country speaking with a man named Saul Steinberg. Anybody at all in this room ever hear of Saul Steinberg? He was the original printer of the Course in Miracles. When they channeled the Course in Miracles, they said, find Saul Steinberg. He will print up the Course in Miracles. And we traveled the country speaking about relationships. So I'll end it here. There's a lot more to tell. But my inner goal in life, and it's never going to go away, even when I was on the island, real quick, I wanted to do a relationship show on Roatan, and the governor said to me, tell me what this show is going to be about. And I said, well, if someone is abused and they call up, I'm going to tell them to leave their husband or leave their boyfriend. He goes, He says, I said, well, is there something wrong with that? He says, there's nothing wrong with it, but that boyfriend will come and kill you. So I said, okay, I'm not going to do that show. Or else I would have brought the show that I've done for years and years to Roatan. So anything you want to ask me later on, I really love producing videos for light workers, getting your work out into the world, and I would love to talk to even more of you about your passion and getting yourself out there in the world. Thank you.